After a while, Leo slumped on his desk, sighing heavily. Preparing for the ball in 2 weeks is torture. He checked the list of attendees. It looked promising, efficiently organized. He especially noted the foreign ambassadors. Leah was queen, after all. She would understand the value of diversity. She glanced at the list thoughtfully. Luckily Duke Cromwell isn't attending, she muttered despondently. He probably doesn't like me. I even thought he might come to watch. First Liam must survive, she whispered fiercely. Once I escape death, I'll divorce and leave the palace. She wasn't fond of events at all. Leah curled up in a corner, clutching the list. This is the only way to survive right now. There was still one more thing she needed to do. Then I should focus on finding the antidote, Leah said seriously. Lindo, have you completed what I asked? He bowed obediently. Yes, your majesty. Everything has been perfectly prepared. They hooked their fingers together in a silent pact. The banquet is fully ready for the ball. High-class, luxurious wines have been poured into the glasses. The rooms are decorated beautifully and immaculately, with royal dishes arranged exquisitely. The main hall gleams with gold plating, worthy of the eternal glory of Ermeth. Guests bustled throughout the grand hall as Leah walked alongside Empress Sion. Together, they greeted distinguished visitors one by one. Leah playfully hooked her arm through Sion's without a hint of shyness. Around them, whispers spread quickly. Oh my god, look at them. So the rumors about the tyrannical couple were false. During the coronation ceremony, they acted tyrannical, but now, probably just an act. How could the emperor endure something he dislikes? Others thought differently. Now they look like a newlywed couple, someone remarked. Leah, pleased with how things were unfolding, smiled and held up her sacred comb. Now, the basic step, she thought, relaxing as she began to comb her smooth hair. Suddenly, 2 attendants approached. Your majesty, the queen. Before they could finish, Leah quickly interrupted. Oh, I'm just a little worried about the ball after the wedding. This comb helps calm nerves, she explained, then unexpectedly invited everyone to try it. A comb like this has such an effect, she said like a savvy brand manager. Would you like to try? A young girl stepped forward, and after using the comb, her expression brightened. Oh, I feel refreshed, like my mind's been purified. My whole body feels so comfortable. Your majesty, where did you get this comb? The girl asked. Word spread quickly, and soon a crowd gathered. Can we try it too? Leah nodded warmly. Of course, just use it naturally, and afterwards, share your feelings. I'll send everyone a new comb based on your feedback. The craftsman was already working to improve the design. Soon, everyone at the party was holding a comb. This was the secret. Every time the comb was used, it released a scent from its teeth, a magical aroma that helped with insomnia and restored balance to the mind and body. The comb stirred curiosity and affection, boosting the queen's reputation. Through the comments, the scent could be refined further, benefiting both the emperor and the people. While Leah happily promoted the comb, Sion sat above, emanating a strange magical aura, his hands clenched tightly. Leo approached him carefully. Your majesty, this is the new antidote. He warned, it's dangerous to drink it all at once. You should take only 1 bottle per day. Leah looked at the antidote bottles in her hand with interest. All the effort at the party had been worth it. Marketing the comb brought many benefits and a lot of money at once. She smiled to herself. Suddenly, she remembered Sion turning toward the door earlier. But now, he was late. She recalled what happened. He left right after the dance, turning away without a word. How is Sion today? Is something wrong? Leah called, throwing the door open. Lauren, where is his majesty? Lauren bowed respectfully. He is practicing swordsmanship. Leah frowned in confusion. At this hour, she put her hand on her chin, thinking hard. Is something really wrong? I should go see him, just to be sure. Besides, I prepared a new ASMR. I want to show it to him soon. At the swordsmanship training hall, a subordinate reported nervously. I'm sorry, your majesty, but no one is allowed inside. Leah's eyes widened in disbelief. Even me? The subordinate nodded reluctantly. The queen is specifically forbidden. Confused and concerned, Leah wondered why Sion was acting this way. Night fell, cloaking the palace in darkness. Sion continued sword practice, panting heavily. What happened today left him unsettled. She had been busy combing other people's hair at the party, making him jealous. You said you would only do that with me. Sion struck decisively, lowering his sword. It's nothing, he muttered, angrily slashing at the practice dummy. Just empty flattery, he asked himself, confused and angry. Outside, Leah stood, waiting patiently. Lauren whispered, Your Majesty, it's very cold early in the morning. You should return to your room. She sighed, headache throbbing. It seems he really doesn't intend to see me tonight. I'll give up and talk later. She came up with a new idea. I'll try ASMR next time. Leah nodded at Lauren and turned to leave. Everything had become like this. She would only drink 1 bottle of antidote tonight. After taking the medicine, she slowly wiped her mouth with a towel. Her whole body felt exhausted and dizzy. Maybe collecting so much hair made it more toxic. She glanced in the mirror. Her reflection looked terrible. Blood still stained the sink, flowing more than before. Leah sighed in weariness. What kind of endurance is this? Her feet planted firmly on the floor as she calculated time in her head. Not much left, only about 2 years. No, only 1 year. Suddenly, Sion threw open the door. Leah looked up and stammered. You're here. He questioned harshly. Why did you do that? Do what? Sion's voice was full of suspicion and jealousy. You combed other people's hair at the party, like you did with me. You acted like you only did that to me. Is that just to coax me? Leah clenched her dress, confused. Sion, I think there's a misunderstanding. His tone darkened and sulky. Misunderstanding? Then explain. What am I to you? Just someone unimportant you flatter when it suits you. Leah's confusion deepened. She felt dizzy but forced herself to think clearly. I have to calm down and reflect. Sion pressed again, anger rising. You combed other people's hair at a party like you did to me. You acted like you only did that for me. Is that just to coax me? His face darkened, jealousy peaking. What am I to you? Leah covered her mouth to suppress a secret smile. In her mind, Sion was like a cat that needed coaxing by its owner. So now, because I combed other people's hair, he thinks he's not special to me. It was funny and cute. Leah smiled and peeked at Sion, who was still angry. Are you mocking me? He asked. She quickly shook her head. Not mocking. I was just going to say, you're very cute. Suddenly, she spat out a mouthful of fresh blood. Leah thought, I'm done for. I must have overdosed. She guessed the side effect of the antidote were hitting her again. A tremor shook her voice. This can't be. Sion's eyes widened. You have a terminal illness. Leah fell into a daze as he pieced together the symptoms and hypotheses. Suddenly, the doctors cleared away the rumors and Sion started to act gently, taking her hand and asking softly, "Is it true? Is it because there's not much time left?" His voice weakened, disbelief filling him. "You really only have 1 year to live." Leah wanted to explain, but her body betrayed her, signs of weakness showing. "No, it's nothing," Sion shouted. Leah lay trembling in his arms. "Leah," she whispered, voice quivering, "I'll tell you everything." He held her gently. "You must be in a lot of pain. Don't say anything." Sion gritted his teeth, blaming himself. "I didn't even know, and I said unreasonable things." He wiped the blood from her lips softly. "Don't do anything. Just lie still." He became warm and kind. "I'll accept everything." Leah's voice trembled. What do you mean?" Sion continued softly. "Everything you want." He asked her to move closer, and she placed her hand on his chest, wanting to push him away. "No, there must be some misunderstanding. There are exceptions," he said firmly. "I'll try to save you, in every way." He lifted her head with affection, speaking like it was the most important promise in the world. "Don't leave me." Sion Bamud embraced Leah Celeste tightly, rubbing her face gently. "Don't leave me." Then, with a steady grip, Sion carried her away. "Wait, Sion," she whispered weakly. "There's something wrong." But he paid no attention, emotionless as he said, "The Queen's palace will be sealed until you recover." Leah's eyes opened wide, mouth agape in shock and confusion. Later, Leah entered the bathtub, still dazed. "No, I'm okay." 3 maids stood nearby, preparing to serve her. She felt dizzy as they scrubbed and bathed her. That evening, Leah lay on her bed, resting, her hands folded over her chest, soulless. Suddenly, she startled when she saw Sion sleeping beside her. She turned to him and asked softly, "Sion, can we talk for a while? Why did you suddenly seal it?" Leah asked. Sion replied coldly, "If you say one more word, I'll lock you in the bedroom so you can't leave." Leah froze at his harsh words. "What?" Sion suddenly turned to her and growled, "Close your eyes. Enough. Go to sleep. Your face is a mess." Leah muttered silently. "How cruel, no matter my condition, to say something like that about my face." Her cheeks slowly flushed as sleep overtook her. "But it's true. My body is exhausted. This bed is warm and so easy to fall asleep in. No, I must protect the people." Her eyes, heavy with sleep, looked at Sion one last time before closing. Softly, she whispered, "See, you have to go to sleep." Sion heard her and urged, "Don't be stubborn. I'll wake you again tomorrow. Too much work to do." Leah closed her eyes, warmth filling her heart. Has it always been this sweet? Every day, he made her go to sleep with that voice, and she fell asleep instantly. That day came. Early morning sunlight streamed in, and a voice called out, "The Queen has opened her eyes." Someone hurried over, concerned. Has she regained consciousness yet? Leah pulled the blanket over her confused face. "What's wrong? What are all these medical devices?" Seeing her panic, a staff member explained, "By His Majesty's order, you are confined to the palace until you fully recover. No one may leave for now." Leah sat up and screamed. "What?" Another attendant cautiously asked, "Can you say where you feel pain?" Leah recoiled and stammered, "No, I don't hurt anywhere." 2 doctors rushed forward, confirming her suspicion. "It's hard for patients to recognize symptoms early," one said. "Please trust us. We guarantee to cure you." The doctor adjusted his glasses, excitement flickering in his eyes. "Then, let's begin the examination, Your Majesty." Fear washed over Leah's face as she tried to avoid the truth. "No, I said I'm not sick. What's going on?" 2 weeks passed of continuous exams and treatment. Leah sighed, lamenting. 2 weeks straight. 2 weeks. She turned away helplessly. Leo Castle shrugged, trying to comfort her. "This is how it is sometimes. Just think of it as taking care of your body." Leah remembered the days past and lamented, "How can this be taking care when I can't even walk on my own feet?" "You can't walk, Your Majesty. I'll take care of you," Leo said kindly. "At least you can walk in the garden, have nutritious meals and rare medicines. You lack nothing." Beautiful fruits were arranged delicately nearby. Leah buried her face in her hands in frustration. "But I said I'm fine. Even so, they don't believe me." Suddenly, she realized, covering her mouth. Did coughing up blood shock them so much? Thinking of being treated like a seriously ill patient, she sighed sadly. "He's been on the battlefield a long time. He's probably more sensitive to blood." Seeing her depressed mood, Leo approached, handing her a pot of medicine. "Things have come to this. Let your body be in the best condition before using the antidote. Otherwise, His Majesty might suspect." She was warned, "Don't drink it all at once. This is very rare." Sion lay down nearby, eyes closed gently. "Until your illness is diagnosed and cured, even putting you to sleep is forbidden." He stroked his chin smugly. "It's a mystery no one has solved yet." Leah smiled to herself. "Of course, because there is no illness." Sion came closer and softly stroked her cheek. Leah was surprised when he said, "Go to sleep. If I see you coughing blood again, I don't know what I'll do." He touched her chin, making her blush shyly. After a moment, Leah realized her face was flushed and quickly buried herself in the blanket. "But Sion, you get headaches when you don't sleep well." He looked at her and replied, "I can sleep." Leah's eyes sparkled like purple jade as she teased, "Yes, you can't sleep without me, right?" He slowly reached for her. "So, about the new sound I prepared." Sion hugged Leah and fell asleep, making her eyes widen. "What? Sleep?" She curled up timidly. "How can I sleep like this? His hand is so warm, and this blanket, why is it so thin?" That dark night, gentle moonlight crept through their window. On the warm bed, Sion embraced Leah as they slept. She looked up softly at his sleeping face. "Sion, are you asleep?" Seeing him still deep in sleep, she wondered, has he really gotten used to sleeping without ASMR, or is he just pretending? Leah began to drift off too. "Well, okay, I'll sleep too. You don't understand anything. 2 weeks of imprisonment is enough." Leah sat drinking tea when she suddenly sneezed. Eloise hurried over, handing her a handkerchief. "Oh my, Your Majesty, are you okay?" Leah panicked. "What did you just say?" Eloise explained nervously. "You haven't left the palace for 2 weeks. Even the doctors have been caring for you day and night, so the rumors had spread." Eloise beamed excitedly. "Congratulations, Your Majesty, you're pregnant." Leah was stunned, mouth agape. "Pregnant? What are you talking about?" Eloise smiled, eyes bright. "I've been hoping for a grandson or granddaughter." Leah stammered. "Wait, no, That's impossible. I need to look ahead to know what's happening. She put her hand on her chest. My father and uncle have heard the rumors and are curious, but because it's early, they've advised caution. So His Majesty only allowed me to visit. Leah lowered her head, biting her handkerchief, tears threatening. Sion even played this nonsense. They locked me up thinking I was seriously ill. It'll be troublesome if father hears about my illness. I won't be able to control if the unknown cell activates. Could it be that Sion is using the pregnancy rumor to protect me from father? He may not know about the cell, but since the accident, he's been cautious about father's actions. Leah's face grew pensive. The pregnancy lie is a shield to protect me. Eloise continued excitedly. So, is it a prince or princess? Leah avoided eye contact, hesitant to answer. That matter is still. Eloise clasped her hands. Of course, you can only know the baby's gender after a while. As a gift to celebrate your future child, may I sing a lullaby? Leah smiled and hummed. Halabi. Sorry, it's nothing. I just ate a strawberry cake. Eloise recalled. My mother always sang this song when I was in her belly because she was close to the Duchess. I'm sure His Majesty heard it too when he was in her mother's belly. Leah blushed slightly. I understand. Then, you start. Eloise began humming sweetly. Leah was surprised and stunned. She clapped non-stop, praising. It's a beautiful song. Just hearing it makes me feel comforted. Eloise smiled, covering her mouth shyly. Really? She happily suggested. I'll write the musical score. Please sing it to the baby, Your Majesty. I'm sure they'll love it. Can someone bring paper and a pen? Eloise quickly wrote the notes and proudly held up a sheet. Do you want to practice now? Leah picked up her teacup, avoiding. I'll practice later. I'm not good at singing. Eloise looked disappointed. Oh, don't say that. I just want to give my future grandson a lullaby their mother used to sing. Leah remembered. No, really, I can't sing. Once a karaoke owner came to perform, but when he heard me, he pretended not to see me and left immediately. Eloise leaned in excitedly. You can sing it when you're with His Majesty. They say it's even better if the child has many memories with both parents. Leah put down the teacup, wondering why Eloise urged so much. Has Leah always sung well? I don't remember anything about it. Usually, she remembered most of Leah's habits. She asked seriously. Eloise, why are you making me sing so much? Eloise lowered her face, tears falling softly. I'm sorry, Your Majesty. I just want to help my future grandson. Seeing Eloise cry, Leah thought, she's really sensitive. Leah smiled brightly. Thank you for thinking of me. I'll practice and sing when the baby is born if I can turn the cake into a baby. Eloise wiped away tears and said, please sing it. Leah changed the subject. But that dress you're wearing today looks elegant and suits you. Which shop did you visit? Eloise happily answered, this dress. Suddenly a voice echoed, Your Majesty, the priest has arrived. Eloise glanced toward Lauren, who stepped in and said, oh my, it's time. I'll leave now, Your Majesty. Leah smiled. Thank you for visiting. Sebet stepped forward and bowed respectfully. Your Majesty, it's an honor to meet you. I am Sebet, the priest in charge of blessings at the main temple. He turned to the servants. The blessing requires maximum sincerity. Please step back. Leah sighed, thinking, one treatment isn't enough. Now there's a blessing. When will this misunderstanding end? She said. I rely on you, priest. Sebet clasped his hands and prayed. Suddenly he stopped, making Leah uneasy. Is there a problem? He bowed and explained. I'm sorry. When I tried to bless the queen's soul, the energy bounced back at me. Leah's face grew serious. The blessing bounced back. Could it be because of the spell the Duke cast on me? Impossible. I was baptized normally. Could it be alchemy or magic? Could it be that Priest Seb was extremely panicked when he heard those words? He quickly covered his mouth, unable to speak. Since the alchemist's prophecy 26 years ago, the previous emperor had forbidden all things related to alchemy. The prophecy warned that if the son ever developed emotions, he would destroy the entire empire. The old emperor feared this prophecy being revealed at all costs. But now, Leah knew she had to uncover what spell the Duke had cast on her. Otherwise, who knew if she might fall ill for some unknown reason? She imagined herself convulsing and shaking uncontrollably, clutching her chest with worry. Please tell me, priest. I already have a bad reputation. If rumors spread that there's something wrong with my soul, that can't happen. Seb trembled and stammered. Ha! Leah cut him off, snorting coldly. It's really not easy, is it? She wiped away a tear and pleaded. Is there truly no way to help me? If I can't receive the blessing, His Majesty will lose his mind. Can't you bless me? Startled, Seb shrank back, trembling. I know all the alchemists were killed and their books burned. I heard a rumor that, with some luck, a treatise might still be hidden in the royal archives. Leah's eyes lit up. Oh my, if we read it, maybe we'll know why the blessing can't reach my soul. Seb panicked, shaking his head. No, Your Majesty. Anyone who comes into contact with alchemy will face punishment. Even if the book exists, it would be dangerous. Later, Leah noticed Seb sprawled on the floor, fast asleep. Did he fall asleep listening to my lullaby? She thought, surprised by how soundly he slept. At this rate, maybe I have a talent for managing sleep. Leah stroked her chin, pondering her lullaby skills. Suddenly, an idea struck her. Oh wait, then I should sneak into the royal library while I still can. She hurried away, thinking, great, no one's around to stop me. I can't miss this golden opportunity. Sleep a little more, Seb. Leah stealthily looked around and cautiously moved toward the royal library entrance. Raising a finger, she signaled for silence, startling a nearby maid. Your Majesty, why are you here? If there's a book you need, I can bring it to you. The maid offered. Leah gestured for silence. I want to choose myself. The library isn't dangerous. The maid quickly replied. Then I'll help you pick a book. Leah turned to her and said firmly, no, I want to look in peace and quiet. You really stand out wherever you go. She thought but hurried inside anyway. I'll just take a quick look and come back. The maid reached out anxiously. Just for an hour, Your Majesty. Inside the library, Leah stood before dazzling stacks of neatly arranged books, overwhelmed. How am I supposed to find it here? Since it's a forbidden book, she decided to search the more secluded shelves first. Leah walked over to one shelf. The origins of ancient races? No. The history of tax reform? Also no. She flipped through many books. There are too many. But where is the book of alchemy? After a while, heat rose within her and she waved her hand to cool down. Maybe it's just a rumor. It's not easy to find in any case. Only 30 minutes what's left. I can't search all this in time. She stood, defeated. I'm out of options. Let's call it a day. It's better to investigate the rumor more thoroughly later and have Lindo handle it. Still, she felt a pang of disappointment. Maybe I'll grab a novel to read on the way back. Suddenly, Leah spotted an eye-catching book. Oh, this title really draws me in. She opened it and blushed with embarrassment. Oh my god, how can such an evil book exist? This kind of book needs to be read and condemned. Suddenly, blood from a wound on her finger dripped onto the page. Oh, my finger got stuck to the paper. She hurriedly wiped it away. Darn, I can't let them find out I damaged it. To her surprise, the book suddenly floated and glowed. Leah gasped. What is this? Why is there light? Did the book just heal itself? She quickly closed it, muttering general theory and utter nonsense. But then she noticed the book's title had changed. Leah flipped through the pages in disbelief. The content had changed too. It now read, "To the one who vows not to abuse the knowledge contained in this book, granting the right to read it. May you learn and master the knowledge of alchemy to bring many benefits to the world." Leah's heart raced. Knowledge of alchemy? This is definitely the book I've been looking for. She held it tightly and raised it triumphantly. From afar, a maid and a knight entered. "Your Majesty, an hour has passed." Leah quickly grabbed the book and ran. The maid called after her worriedly, "Your Majesty." Leah turned, pointed, and shouted loudly, "Don't follow me. If you do, I'll throw you into the new harem." The two stopped, startled by her threat. Leah dashed through the corridors, past carefully tended flower pots under gentle sunlight. After a while, she stopped and looked around. "I've lost them, right?" She pulled the book out again to study. "Let's see." She flipped to the blank pages and frowned. "What is this? Why is there nothing at the back?" Looking around suspiciously, she thought, besides the book of alchemy, who else would be bewitched? I should have realized when it disguised itself as a red book. She remembered the drop of blood on the book. The vow. Just now when I spilled blood, the book glowed. Leah eyed a thorny flower nearby. This thorn probably won't hurt too much. She pricked herself and let blood drip onto the book's paper again. Words immediately appeared on the blank page. "What do you wish to know, my master?" Leah smiled, satisfied. I knew this was the right move. She brought the book closer and spoke aloud. "Oh, hello. I have a question. Do you know anything about curses?" There was no immediate response. Since it's a book, maybe I should write it down." Leah picked up a pen and wrote, "I'm cursed. Suddenly I can't breathe, and it hurts a lot. The cause is unknown. Can you tell me what kind of curse it is?" The book immediately answered, "It is a curse cast within 1 day of your birth. It is bound by blood and linked to fate." Leah's eyes widened. "Fate? If it was cast within 1 day of my birth, then the culprit must be the Duke." She asked another question. "Is it a curse to kill me?" The book replied, "No. Currently, you are soulbound to the person closest to you. Normally, this would be a blood relative, but in your case, it is not, my master." Leah thought deeply. If it's the person closest to me who isn't a blood relative, what happens when souls are bound? In most stories, when one dies, the other dies too. She wrote another question. "What happens to the person whose soul is bound to me if I die?" The book answered, "If one soul is completely extinguished, the other will also be damaged. Over time, the souls grow more tightly bound by the curse and eventually share the same fate." Leah's eyes turned cold. So in the original story, when Sion went crazy and died, was it because Leah's soul bound to him died first? Luren stood outside Leah's room, wondering why the door was open. Has the blessing ended? She entered softly. "Your Majesty, has Sir Seb's blessing ended?" Seeing Seb sprawled motionless on the floor, Luren panicked. Has Her Majesty disappeared? She and a knight hurried to wake Seb. "Sir Seb, please wake up." The knight noticed Seb was still dazed. This reaction, it seems he is under the influence of some drug. Luren gasped. A drug? Everyone was terrified. "Someone has kidnapped the queen." Luren urged, "Hurry, we must inform the emperor." Meanwhile, Leah was deep in thought. Sion and I are soulbound to each other. Did Leah's killer know this? If Sion were killed directly, it would cause rebellion. But killing me caused only a brief disturbance. They could easily eliminate Sion too. She imagined the two being killed because of the curse. Leah bit her lip, frustrated. So the culprit is... She held her head. This is so complicated. Moreover, the curse on my soul is still active. That's troubling. It's making my head hurt too much. Let's start sorting out what we know for sure. If Sion is healthy, then I am healthy. And if I am healthy, then Sion is healthy. Taking care of my health actually helps him too. Leah shuddered as realization hit. Wait, that means I have to endure being tied to him. She steadied herself and said aloud, "Let's put this issue aside for now and focus on something else." The writing suddenly disappeared from the page. It feels a little worn out again," Leah's sea lights muttered. She dripped her blood onto the page once more, grumbling. "Could it be? I knew it. The more questions I ask, the weaker the blood's effect becomes. I'll have to replenish it periodically when using this." Without hesitation, she continued writing with her pen. "Okay, let's quickly move on to the next question. Why does the curse cause pain?" The book immediately answered, "It is because the two souls forcibly bound to each other push one another away. They need to merge so there is no discord." Leah was surprised. "Can't the curse be broken?" The book replied, "Not unless one of the souls is extinguished." Excited, she wrote back, "But wouldn't that mean the other soul would also be affected?" The book did not deny this. "That's right. When the curse is broken, the other soul is destroyed as well." Leah sighed, tired. "What is this? It's like an endless cycle." After a long pause, she sighed again. "Haze, I guess I have no choice but to ask how the souls can be merged." She winced, holding her finger. "Oh, it hurts so much." She wrote another question. "How do the two souls merge?" The book immediately answered, "Emotions, physical connection, and contact." Leah frowned in confusion. Emotions, physical connection, and contact. So what am I supposed to do with that? The book replied, "I will give you the fastest method. The choice is yours, my master." Leah was surprised. "What?" She angrily shook the book. "Hey, you can't just stop there. Explain clearly before leaving." Leah grabbed the thorny branch, which was still covered in her blood. "Okay, I need more blood." She looked at the scissors in front of her but shivered. "No, scissors are too scary." Trembling, she put her finger to her mouth. If I bite it with my teeth." Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. "Found you." A tall man appeared in front of Leah Sea Lights. Startled, she bit her finger hard. "Cannon Bama Bamud quickly grabbed her bleeding hand and growled, "Are you crazy, Sion? Since Sebit's fainted, I thought you were kidnapped. Did you escape? Do you hate me that much?" Leah was shocked. He grabbed her shoulders, blaming her. "Do you hate being bound to me so much that you'd hurt yourself?" Leah hurriedly explained, "Son, it's not like that. There are circumstances." Sion Bamud said quietly, "What circumstances? What, are you going to say you just wanted some time alone to read a book?" Leah nodded nervously. That's right." He intended to blame her. "There's a book you can read in the Queen's palace, and you went so far as to knock out Seb and run away." She cried silently inside. "I could be executed for reading a forbidden book." Sion Bamud's expression darkened. "How amazing is this book you're reading?" Suddenly, the book's pages lit up, showing words. Chapter 7, The Endless Night of the Lady and the Knight. Leah nudged the book with her foot, thinking, why is this page open? He looked at her, sighed, and said, "If you want to see it, just say so." Sion Bamud pleaded softly, No, I'm really not that kind of person." Seeing she didn't answer, he added, "I will bring you anything you want." Leah breathed a sigh of relief and said, "No, I don't look at that kind of thing. It was a mistake." She was surprised when Sion said sternly, "Just stab me. If you're so angry, just stab me. But if you hurt yourself again without my permission, I won't forgive you." Leah looked at him warmly. She put her hand on Sion Bamud's. Leah leaned in and said, "You're worried I'm hurt. Does it hurt here? Do you want to feel the pain for me?" Sion Bamud was stunned. She continued, "It's just worry and disappointment. You're probably angry too. But in times like these," Leah gave a beautiful smile and looked at Sion Bamud. "Please say, I'm sad that you're hurt. Be careful not to get hurt. I didn't really hurt myself. I just accidentally bit myself because I was startled." He had a sad expression. "If I made you sad, then I'm sorry." She smiled brightly and said, "No, you're not a tyrant. You're a warm person. I told you, didn't I?" Leah slowly raised her beautiful hand. "An emperor with emotions will ruin the fate of the empire. That kind of thing doesn't mean anything at all." She stroked his head. "See, the empire hasn't collapsed yet, has it?" Sion Bamud angrily grabbed her hand that was stroking his head and said, "So you think I'll let you go after escaping, huh?" Leah struggled as he carried her over his shoulder. "What is this? Not the Princess Carrie." Canon Bamud hugged her tightly and replied, "But being carried like luggage? You really have a lot of requests, you troublemaker. And you're not a princess, you're the queen." Sion Bamud shouted toward the book still on the ground. "Oh, we need to get that. Please pick it up." Holding the book, Leah was very happy. "Oh, thank you." Seeing her happy, Sion Bamud said, "I don't know how I've endured this until now." Surprised, she asked, "What do you mean?" He immediately said something that left her wide-eyed and speechless. "When you said you would eliminate the heroine, I should have foreseen the withdrawal symptoms." Leah blushed shyly and struggled. "Withdrawal symptoms? You don't misunderstand anything strange, do you?" Sion Bamud hugged her tightly and said, "I'll pretend I didn't hear that. So from now on, feel free to read as much as you like." She blushed and shouted, "No, I don't. Please put me down." Back on this side, Seb spoke apologetically. "Your Majesty, Your Highness, I sincerely apologize. I was too worried and fainted while giving the blessing." Leah saw him bowing worriedly and calmly replied, "What happens? Don't worry. How do you feel now?" Seb was extremely grateful and said, "I feel filled with your boundless grace. I am completely healthy, so I will immediately give the blessing again." Sion Bamud, who had been standing nearby, also spoke, "Let's get this over with quickly." Leah panicked. "What now? What if they find out the blessing isn't effective? Alchemy magic? How am I supposed to explain this? If it's exposed, I'll be executed. Please wait a moment." Suddenly, Leah received a blessing, surprising her. Seb was constantly praying, "In the name of the divine, I grant Queen Liam the power of blessing to protect her body and mind." Leah smiled brightly and pretended to say, It didn't seem very effective just now because you were too worried, but after resting, you succeeded excellently." He was still worried and replied, "Really, I have to apologize. I barely remember anything before I fainted." Leah was a little surprised, so he forgot everything about alchemy and souls that we talked about earlier. She held her head tiredly and thought, "I thought he fell asleep because of my lullaby, but wasn't it because he fainted from using too much power? Well, I'm not a witch. How could I put someone to sleep with a song?" Seb bowed respectfully. "I will return and continue to improve myself, Your Majesty." Leah tiredly replied, "You did a great job." Seb, next to him, spoke angrily, "I will lift the restriction order, but you have to go for regular checkups. If you neglect your health, I will lock you up again." Leah firmly pointed at him and replied, "I understand, but in return, Canon also has to go for regular checkups. It's not fair if only I have to go." Seeing her point at him, Sion Bamud was confused and said, "What's unfair? Even after being so sick, you're still making excuses like this." Leah puffed up her cheeks adorably and replied, "Is that just how you see it, Sion? You may look fine, but you could also be in a condition that needs a checkup." She kept shouting, "And please do something about the pregnancy rumors. I was so shocked when I heard it from Eloise. You knew about it, right?" Leah pouted and speculated. Surely the rumor helped delay the Duke for a while. She imagined stones pressing down on her, paranoia from a hateful stalker. "It's so unfair." Sion Bamud stood with his arms crossed. "If it's not exposed, it will eventually disappear on its own. Why bother doing anything?" Leah was suddenly confused. What about my reputation?" He continued. "I should have hidden that book and kept quiet." Hearing that, Leah said, "Hurry and deny it. If you don't, I really won't let you sleep." Sion looked cold and replied, "Depends on how you behave." She shouted, waving her hands, "You're so bad." Suddenly, she looked at the table in front of her and asked, "By the way, did you see the sheet music on the table?" He replied, "No, I didn't see it. It must have been lost during cleaning." "Is it important?" She shook her head a little remorsefully. "Not very important, but it was a gift from Eloise. If it's lost, I feel a little guilty." Canon Bamud gently laid her down on the bed and said softly, "If it's just a small matter, don't worry about it anymore and go to sleep." Leah closed her eyes to sleep but still felt a little sad. But I still feel a little guilty. I'll send Eloise a gift to thank her." The next morning, Leah coughed lightly and said, "The book clearly stated our souls have not yet merged, but when Seb gave the blessing again. It worked perfectly without any resistance. Leo Castle, sitting next to her, asked clearly, "You said it was about emotions, body, and contact, right? Perhaps the Emperor's emotions have also begun to affect his soul." She wore a pensive expression. "So then, if we continue like this, I will no longer be sick because of the curse. I just need to keep meeting and exchanging emotions, right?" Leo Castle took the book and stared at it intently, suspiciously. But why did Sir Seb forget everything that happened with the Queen? Leah speculated. Who knows? Maybe he really forgot after fainting. She sighed. "That's beneficial for us. If he talked about alchemy, that book might have been discovered. I even tried it with Lin out of curiosity, and this book only reacts to my blood. As long as we don't talk about alchemy, the risk of discovery is very low." Leah looked at the book sadly. Although disguising as a red book is a bit embarrassing. Anyway, it's still better than revealing that it's a book of alchemy. But why do I feel like I've forgotten something important? A dark shadow of a man spoke. "Do you think they suspected anything?" The dark shadow of a girl brought a bottle of wine and replied, "If they suspected, one of us would be dead already." She poured the wine and continued, "But it's true that we haven't made any progress. If things remain the same at the next convocation, the punishment will fall." The man slowly sipped his wine and said, "If the Queen cannot be shaken, they will turn to the Emperor. Just because things are quiet for a while doesn't mean their nature has changed. Blood always demands blood." Outside, beneath an auspicious sky filled with greenery and fresh air, a grey cloth fluttered across the beautiful scene. Leah Sealights was extremely excited. "Ah, the air is so refreshing." Leaving the royal palace, she felt full of life. Today was the day of the grand hunting competition. She remembered begging Sion Bamud to let her go. Of course, Sion tried to stop her, saying it was too dangerous, but she kept begging, saying, "Being next to you would be safer." Leah wore a proud expression and was finally allowed to go. She hooked her arm around Canon Bamud's shoulder and said, "You think it's a good idea to bring me along, right, Sion?" He asked suspiciously. "Why are you so excited?" Leah smiled happily, her face blooming with joy. "It's just everything. Honestly, I'm quite simple, optimistic and peace-loving, you know." Hearing that, he glanced at her. Canon Bamud suddenly asked, "Have you seen the list of participants I sent to the royal palace a few days ago?" Leah unexpectedly replied, "Oh yes, of course I have." She smiled, though she barely remembered. Actually, she had been very busy hiding the fact that she vomited blood after taking the all-purpose antidote yesterday, so her memory was fuzzy. Leah looked at Sion Bamud worriedly. "But Sion, why do you seem so tense today?" A man approached and respectfully said, "I greet your majesty." Cedric Sylvester, heir of the Sylvester Duchy, was introduced. The name sounded familiar. "Ah," Sion Bamud said somewhat unhappily. "So he's here." Leah's eyes lit up. "The reason you're so happy is because of your unbroken fiancé." Leah stared blankly, not understanding. She looked suspiciously at the man in front of her. Raising her hand in greeting, she thought, "This person was my fiancé before I was born." Looking more closely, she suddenly realized, "Ah, that's right. Now I remember. This handsome man was the fiancé from the womb, Cedric Sylvester, heir of the Sylvester Duchy in the neighboring region. Before Leah was born, Duke Celeste had hoped for a son, so he planned for his future heir to be engaged to the daughter of Duke Sylvester, a family that had amassed a huge fortune through maritime trade. As soon as the Duchess was pregnant, they arranged a marriage between their unborn children, the Duke's child and the Sylvester daughter, who was also expecting at the time. But in the end, a baby girl was born in the Queen's household and a baby boy in the Duke's household, so the marriage was forgotten. Anyway, since the child was a girl, they planned for her to become queen." Leah fiddled with her small mouth, wondering, how long has sex identification technology existed? 10 years. If that technology had existed 21 years ago, maybe I wouldn't have had a fiancé from the womb. Streams of memories swirled in her mind. Even so, I think we were quite close when we were young. Cedric often came to my house to play. The tiny little girl had fiercely questioned, "Why do you keep coming to my house?" The boy pitifully explained, "Because I'm your fiancé." Little Leah was not easily fooled. "Don't lie to me. I'm going to be the queen." There was even another girl vying for Cedric's affection. "No, Cedric is my fiancé. Cedric, marry me." The childhood memories made Leah laugh. It felt like a childhood friendship. She then greeted him with a smile. "Long time no see, Cedric, eldest son of Duke Sylvester." Cedric raised his hand to his chest and bowed properly. "Yes, I was busy managing the affairs of the duchy, so I couldn't visit for many years." "How have you been lately?" She waved her hand to show she was well. "Very good. As you can see, I'm very healthy." Canon Bamud, standing next to her, mimicked with a frown. "Healthy, of course." Sion Bamud stepped forward to intimidate his old rival. "Participating in the hunting competition right before tomorrow's negotiations shows your commitment to friendship between our countries. I have to admit, that's admirable." Cedric laughed awkwardly. "Haha, it's been a long time since I've been back here, so when I remember the past, I want to participate." He still didn't forget to show respect. "Thank you for your generosity in allowing me to do so, your majesty." Leah exclaimed, "Wow, aren't you afraid of getting tired after 2 consecutive days?" Sion Bamud teased, "If you don't have the stamina for this, how can you lead a country?" Cedric didn't feel pressured. "You're absolutely right. I hope you'll teach me a thing or two today, your majesty." Sion Bamud grabbed Leah and firmly refused. "Sorry, but I'm busy taking care of the queen. I'm afraid that will be difficult. Enjoy what you can." Then he coldly turned her around, causing her to gasp unexpectedly. Leah looked up suspiciously. "What is this? Are you taking care of me?" Sion resolutely replied, "That's right." Even though she was already on horseback, she wondered, "You don't like Cedric, do you?" Sion didn't answer but asked back, "Why do you ask that?" Leah seemed to know him well, so why did you interrupt the conversation and make an excuse to leave? Sion suddenly became jealous. "What, are you disappointed because you wanted to be with your fiancé?" Leah turned around and denied it. "What fiancé? That engagement was cancelled when we were babies." Sion urged his horse closer, provoking her. "I didn't know the Celeste family had a tradition of frequently meeting a fiancé after breaking off engagements." Leah quickly explained, "That was before the wedding happened, only when we were young." She looked him straight in the eye and emphasized, "Moreover, Cedric and I are not close at all. It's just that our families have a close relationship. You understand, right? It's annoying. Sion was still stubborn. Isn't it a little strange to say you two are not close when he even calls you by your first name? Leah defended. No, he hasn't heard any news about me for many years. Now that we finally met again, do you think we look very close? Sion of course had other worries but said nothing more. Suddenly, the sound of a horn rang out, cutting off their argument. Leah startled and gasped. Sion, it seems like it's about to start. Let's go. We have to leave immediately. Sion sighed, ending his brief anger, while Leah urged him forward. In the dense forest, a cicada stood blankly. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, shining on a small pond, making the surrounding greenery shimmer. The two supported each other on horseback as they entered the forest. The scenery was poetic, but Leah ruined the atmosphere, lamenting. Sion, my waist hurts so much. I've never ridden a horse for so long before. Canon Bamud didn't comfort her but blamed her instead. What did I tell you? I told you to stay in the palace. He ordered the soldiers behind them, set up a tent and let the queen rest. They immediately replied, yes, your majesty. The tent was quickly set up at the forest's edge. Leah waved goodbye to her husband. Thank you, Sion. I'll rest. You go quickly. I can't be a hindrance. Bamud stopped and instructed, I'll be back soon. Rest well. She obediently agreed. Yes, be careful and have a safe journey. The sun was high and the sunlight harsh. Leah comfortably sat in the recliner, enjoying the rest, which made her feel better. After a while, she opened her eyes and thought, I wonder if Sion is okay. The attendant next to her quickly suggested, Your Highness, if you feel lonely, I can bring you a rabbit. Leah became interested. Oh, can you bring it without killing it? He didn't hesitate to agree. If you request it, I will bring it, Your Highness. She exclaimed happily. Wow, that will definitely be very cute. While waiting for the rabbit to arrive, Leah was secretly pleased inside. Ho ho, now everyone is gradually becoming kinder to me. It feels great to see my image improving after all those things. Suddenly, a voice rang out in the forest. So there's something other than a rabbit. Leah excitedly stood up. That's the sign the first game has been caught, right? But what stood before them made everyone freeze. A large beast was slowly walking toward the two. What? Leah frantically guessed in her heart. What is that? The attendant drew his sword and stepped in front of her. A chimera, Your Highness. Please step back. But before he could act, the chimera fiercely knocked his sword away. Leah screamed in fear. Here. The chimera opened its hideous mouth and bit hard at the man in front of it. In moments, a soldier was thrown far, hitting a tree heavily. The ferocious chimera panted. The soldiers panicked and shouted, quickly fire a signal to alert everyone. Request reinforcements. A yellow flare shot into the sky immediately. Hearing the loud explosion, the chimera grew even more ferocious. Leah trembled and questioned, why is this monster in the hunting area? The attendant shrank back. I don't know. These chimeras have been banned for over 10 years. After being created for combat, the chimera suddenly went rogue, making the two even more panicked. It charged straight into the encirclement, pushing back all the surrounding soldiers. Leah stood facing the giant beast, constantly reassuring herself. No, I'm not going to die like this. She fearfully covered her face and called out, Sion Bamud. He appeared just in time to subdue the beast. Leah hurried over. Sion, are you okay? He coldly asked. What's going on? Someone kept warning. Dangerous. Your Majesty. Your Highness. Suddenly, Cedric appeared out of nowhere and blocked Leah. Please step back. The Emperor has lost control. Please step back. The Emperor has lost control. She stuttered. What? He raised his sword and explained while fighting the chimera. I was injured and His Majesty attacked me as well. Leah couldn't believe it and looked at the man in the distance. Cannon attacked. Impossible. His body exuded a thick killing intent, which made her suspicious. Sion, Cedric warned loudly. Don't provoke him. Seeing blood has awakened his bloodthirsty instinct. He emphasized the ruthless instinct to cut down enemies on the battlefield. Leah still hadn't gotten over her shock. His saying his instinct has awakened. Impossible. She tried to find a reason to justify it. Even if it's tense, this is still unreasonable. The current Sion wouldn't lose control in a situation like this. Even when he saw my blood, he was very normal. Leah's heartbeat suddenly skipped a beat. Something felt like it just disappeared. She rushed to Cedric and stopped him from taking action. Stop. His Majesty is not that kind of person. I'll try talking to him. He still looks stubborn. Your Highness, I am a friend of the Bamud royal family. Cedric turned and gave Leah a firm blow. As long as the engagement with the Celeste Duchy is still valid, I have the responsibility to protect you. She asked, confused. What? He suddenly changed his tone. If you can't attend the wedding, Eloise will be very sad. Leah's head filled with question marks. What is he saying? I'm going to marry Eloise. Why is the Duke's family involved in this? She hesitated but was interrupted by a sharp sound slicing through the air, replaced by a fearful scream. Ah! Cedric turned his head and called out, Your Highness. Leah touched the wound on her face and questioned, an arrow? Where did it come from? She paused, thinking, wait, there's a smell like the scent of an unstable body. Leah grew dizzy. Impossible. A poisoned arrow. A special scent brushed against her skin. She rummaged through her memories. I remember, that's the poison I prepared to deal with Lindo. The blue bottle of poison appeared clearly in her mind. It's a mild poison, but its symptoms are difficult to detect. If not treated immediately, it can cause serious and even fatal consequences. She covered her mouth, panting and complaining. Who would use such a poisoned arrow in a hunting competition? Even though she was careful, damage to her internal organs was inevitable. Fresh blood began pouring from Leah's mouth. Sion Bamud seemed drawn to the scent of blood. The blue veins on his face popped out. He slashed his sword straight at Cedric. Cedric tried to resist and urged, Your Highness, please run away quickly. She didn't listen but reacted to something else, the scent of valetamine. Leah felt cold all over. Why does that scent come from Cedric? He doesn't seem poisoned though. Sion Bamud attacked Cedric relentlessly. The sharp tip of the spear aimed straight at his neck as he charged forward. Though Cedric tilted his head to avoid it, the blade still grazed his cheek. The spear shaft followed its momentum and hit his shoulder hard. The two men maintained their stance, weapons pointed at each other. Leah called out, Sion. She looked at his soulless state and wondered, that's strange. Someone must have taken advantage of him to make him lose control. Leah bit her lip in anger. I won't forgive forgive whoever did this. She thought of how carefully she had been taking care of him. The journey of being by Sion Bamud's side flashed before her like a revolving lantern. Sumptuous meals, quality sleep. Leah burst into anger. I've only just hained him. I need to stop this immediately. She kept urging herself. Think, what should I do? She remembered the book Emotions, Body, Contact that she had read. That red book taught me about soul connections. Leah decided to take a gamble. I'm not sure if it will work, but there's no time to hesitate. She looked at the two who were fighting madly and silently prayed. Please, please. Leah rushed straight at Cedric. Get out of the way. He recoiled in alarm. Her heels left the ground, and by mistake she placed a kiss on Sion Bamud's lips. He opened his eyes wide in surprise at this unexpected incident. The two remained silent in this awkward position under the sunlight. Sion Bamud threw the spear from his hand away. He took back the initiative, deepening the kiss. Now it was Leah's turn to panic. Wait, what? Sion tightened his grip on her waist. Everything happened so suddenly. Suddenly, soldiers appeared from afar and asked with concern, Your Majesty, Your Highness, are you okay? Leah reminded herself in confusion. Everyone, before everyone's eyes, she struggled desperately. Stop, stop, no, if this continues. Leah squeezed Sion Bamud's coat tightly and frantically signaled to the others. People will think he's a pervert. Finally, the kiss that felt like a century ended. The surrounding spectators were all stunned. Then Sion Bamud suddenly fell to the ground. Leah trembled all over, crying pathetically. Hey, why did you faint? You caused all this, and now you want me to clean up, she whispered. Sion, the attendant, after experiencing the shock, also shouted an order. Immediately check on His Majesty and Her Highness. The forest was still bathed in sunlight as if nothing had happened. The attendant knelt and asked solicitously, Your Highness, His Majesty is fine, only slightly injured. It seems he only fainted for a moment. Your Highness, do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Leah smiled weakly and said, I'm fine. But inside, there was a storm. In reality, she was not fine at all. She looked at the sleeping man in front of her. Anyway, I'm relieved that Sion's rage has stopped. What the heck happened that everything turned out like this? Leah turned to find out. Commander Robert, what happened at the hunting ground? He hesitated. Finally, Robert told the truth. His Majesty was hunting with Duke Sylvester. His voice faltered. Suddenly, the monster chimera attacked and caused a large-scale massacre. Robert tried to recall the scene. Duke Cedric was also injured. In the chaos, a stray arrow shot by the Duke hit a tree and bounced back. It turned out that Cedric was the cause, and unfortunately, that arrow grazed His Majesty's arm, causing him to bleed. It was at that moment His Majesty suddenly lost control. Robert seemed emotional. His Majesty has become extremely sensitive to blood due to the long-term effects of the war. It's a pity he was directly injured like that. Leah shifted her attention back to Sion Bamud. Wait, there's something that worries me. She remembered what Cedric said earlier. While fighting the chimera, I was injured, and then His Majesty suddenly changed and attacked me. Leah turned to question him. You just said that when you were injured, His Majesty suddenly attacked you, right? Looking at Cedric's stiff expression, she immediately suspected someone is lying here. Cedric panicked and approached Leah, changing the subject. Come to think of it, weren't you almost hit by an arrow that came from somewhere? You seem dizzy from the impact, so I'll quickly take you to my personal doctor. Leah sneered inwardly. Now he's trying to make me believe there's something wrong with my memory. She found it unbelievable. He didn't even blink and kept acting. Even I was fooled. Leah touched her wound and said in a low voice, Speaking of the arrow you just mentioned, she dropped a bombshell. It was a poisoned arrow. Leah turned to the group of soldiers and said, I felt a strange smell and a burning sensation on the wound. They all exclaimed. What? Cedric seemed to find a lifeline. Now I understand. No wonder you remember everything so strangely. It must be a type of poison that affects the nerves. The captain of the Knight's Order was called. Please take Her Highness to the doctor. Leah interrupted him. No need to put on a show, she declared loudly. As everyone knows, thanks to His Majesty, I have recently been adhering to a very strict diet. I also take special medicine to remove toxins from my body every day. Then she confidently concluded, therefore, such a small amount of poison will not affect me. But the truth was what Leah would not say. Actually, she didn't take those things. It's thanks to Lindo's all-purpose antidote. She stared at the others, slowing down each word. So I will not suddenly faint from a poisoned arrow. Cedric felt he could no longer argue. I was too panicked and spoke nonsense. The captain of the Knight's Order is right, he frantically explained. But didn't Her Highness also see it? Her Highness pointed a sword at me for no reason. Leah stomped her foot on the ground. Of course I saw it. She grabbed his hand firmly and reprimanded him. It's not for no reason. In fact, I should say it's suspicious. Leah squeezed his wrist tightly, eyes narrowing as she suspected. Or maybe, she caught the scent on Cedric's wrist and asked sharply, should I call you a criminal? Suddenly, dizziness swept over her. She unexpectedly spat out a mouthful of blood. The surrounding soldiers panicked and shouted, Your Majesty, Her Highness. Leah pointed directly at Cedric and commanded, judging by the reaction to the drug, it seems the gloves are poisoned. Arrest him immediately. With a chorus of yes, Your Highness, Cedric was pressed to the ground. Desperately, Cedric tried to justify himself. Your Highness, please give me a chance to explain. The substance on my gloves is something widely used in our duchy. Leah shot him a contemptuous look. He's still acting until the very last minute. At that moment, the scent of acetamine spread through the air. Turning her back to him with icy indifference, she said, not worth listening to anymore. Take him away. Amid the echoes of yes, Your Highness, Cedric's voice cracked in desperation. Leah breathed a sigh of relief. Finally, this matter has calmed down a bit. She slightly parted her lips as if to say something more, but ultimately remained silent, staring at the blood-stained handkerchief in her hand. I'm sure Cedric didn't plan this himself. The one who shot the poisoned arrow while I was with him must be his accomplice. Piecing the events together in her mind, Leah understood the situation. First, they released a chimera to create a fake battlefield, making Sion more sensitive. Then, they deliberately shot the arrow at Sion, knowing he would lose control upon seeing blood. After that, Cedric came to her and lied, claiming Sion attacked him first to keep me away from Sion through fear. Meanwhile, the hidden accomplice shot the poisoned poisoned arrow at me. If I had died, they would fabricate a story that Sion killed me in a bloodlust. If I really died, the soul-binding charm would activate, and Sion might completely lose his mind, just like in the original plot. I don't know if Cedric knew about that charm or not, but I need to find out what triggers Sion's reaction to blood. The accident during the inauguration ceremony was similar. Watching how Sion handled the aftermath of the war, Leah suddenly became enlightened. It seems he doesn't like blood or killing. She lowered her head, pondering. Actually, it seems he hates it more. Is this a psychological trauma reaction? But anyway, it's strange that he becomes more aggressive whenever he sees blood. Leah silently made a decision. When I get back, I need to investigate this more thoroughly. Robert approached her to report. Your Majesty, Your Highness, the hunting tournament has been cancelled immediately. Please bring both Majesties back to the Royal Palace for treatment and start an investigation. Leah had no reason to refuse. Yes, as soon as His Majesty wakes up. Suddenly, she staggered, causing Robert to panic. Your Highness. He caught her confusedly as she fell into his arms. Your Highness. She was sweating with fear and feeling very unwell. Damn it, is it because I was directly poisoned twice? Her body trembled. Everyone around was in a commotion. Quickly put Her Highness on the carriage. Hurry. Leah grew more and more dazed. Oh God, my consciousness is fading little by little. She looked at the person lying quietly next to her and whispered, Sion. Sion Bermud's face was peaceful, as if he were just sleeping. Even so, she was glad he was safe. No big deal. Though his eyes opened, Leah was still lost in thought. I already solved everything, so why is he only opening his eyes now? She smiled contentedly. Indeed, a Black Panther needs a lot of effort. Softly, she uttered, You're in daze. Leah seemed to see Bermud shaking her awake again. He called her name repeatedly. Leah. She lost consciousness after that call. Yes, my name. Upon arriving at the royal palace, she was still unconscious. Sion Bermud held his head and blamed himself. Damn it, why is it like this? He grabbed Leo Castle and questioned him. I heard Her Highness drank the antidote, but was the poison from the hunting area neutralized? He stammered. Yes, Your Majesty, it was neutralized. Leo Castle tried to reassure him. It was just a sudden shock that disrupted the nervous system. Resting enough will help her recover. Sion Bermud raised a question. Compare the Duke's gloves with the components of the poisoned arrow. Leo Castle knelt and confirmed. They matched the same type of poison. Sion looked extremely frustrated. No wonder I felt uneasy from the beginning. He dared to touch the Queen. He turned away irritably, leaving an order. Make sure not a single hair of Her Highness is harmed. Leo Castle respectfully agreed. Yes, Your Majesty. Sion kept cursing. Damn it. He strode toward the prison. I don't remember anything after the arrow grazed me. It's crazy. He heard Leah stop him and handled the situation. But the more Sion thought about it, the angrier he became. It's pathetic that I lost consciousness while the fragile Queen handled everything alone. Cedric was tied tightly to a chair like a criminal. Canon Bermud gloomily gave an order. Bring all the people involved here. Footsteps and the clashing sound of torture instruments immediately echoed in the prison. Canon Bermud exuded a dark aura and demanded, Speak. What is your purpose? He promised himself. I won't let Leo wake up in this damn situation. Earlier, a very long letter had been read. I am very sorry for the incident, and if you hand over the Crown Prince, I will punish him with imprisonment in a remote tower so he must reflect for the rest of his life. The envoy clarified. This is Mr. Sylvester's position. Canon Bermud quickly accused. His son is involved in funding the illegal modification of chimras and trading poisons to try to assassinate the royal family. Sion swept his sharp eyes at the envoy. Didn't you hear? He immediately knelt and presented a gesture of goodwill. He is offered the Northern Sea and says he will cancel the engagement between the Crown Prince and the Appenzeller family. Sion asked with interest, Are there any underwater fuel sources discovered in the Northern Sea? The envoy confirmed, Yes, Your Majesty. It is also an important location for sea transportation. Sion Bermud tore the letter of apology in his hand and mocked. It's ridiculous, going so far to save his son who has no courage at all. He decisively declared in the darkness, The Northern Sea will be renamed under the Queen's name starting today. Canon Bermud raised the sword in his hand and warned, No excuses. Do it immediately. Suddenly, the attendant slammed open the door and interrupted, Emperor, Your Highness. Hearing the words, Her Highness has regained consciousness. Sion Bermud felt as if hit by a body-fixing technique. He stood up hastily. The envoy asked confusedly, Then when will the execution be carried out? Canon Bermud threw back a sentence. Do it quickly and make a final report. Then he rushed out. His heart kept racing. She finally woke up. Thinking of the scene of Leah just lying still on the bed, anger took over his head again. They said her health is still fine. Why did she faint for 3 days? Sion ran straight through the long corridor. While waiting for her to wake up, he had been studying everything related all day and night. At that time, he had asked Cedric, What were you planning to do with those illegal chimras? Cedric looked up to the sky and said directly, I was planning to resell them all over the continent through Bermud. Canon Bermud continued, You chose a trading route through a hunting reserve. He pretended to understand. It's too big, you know. Cedric casually recounted the entire process, but admitted a mistake by the minister caused one to escape. He had calculated carefully. If it continued like that, everything would be exposed, so I covered it up by using your image. Cedric tried to force a smile on his distorted face. That's when Leah Bermud grabbed his neck angrily. How dare you mention the Queen's name with that mouth? As if thinking of something, Cedric released his hand. Now Leah is injured. You, of course. Bermud threatened frankly. The Sylvester Duchy will not be safe either. His fist bulged with veins, a storm surging in his heart. How dare you drag the Queen into this? You will pay for your crimes for the rest of your life. Sion Bermud finally stepped to the door of the room. Will looking at her face make me feel better? The attendant raised his hand to knock and announced inside, Your Majesty. His Majesty has arrived, but the door remained deadly silent. Canon Bermud hastily pulled the door. Leah, why is the door locked from inside? Finally, 2 sounds rang out. Go away. Sion Bermud was stunned and blurted, What? He frantically shook the door and begged, Open the door for me right now. Leah was still stubborn and shouted, Go away. I'm too embarrassed to live now. She screamed screamed and fussed. How could you do that in front of everyone? Are you a pervert? Sion seemed to remember something and fearfully covered his mouth. Leah continued accusing. I know you did it on purpose. Can Bamud dare to wear this hot? No, I didn't. It's not like that. She immediately covered up the story. Everyone sees. He still remembers. He impatiently slammed on the door. Leah, wait. Open the door for a moment. The doctor and attendants frantically ran to stop him. Your Majesty, if you continue like this, it will not be good for the Queen's stability. Please leave today. Despite Bamud's trembling plea, Leah was still defiant. The doctor stretched out his arms to block the door. The attendants anxiously asked, Are you okay, Your Majesty? Leah was still transformed into an ostrich in the blanket. I don't know. How can I appear in front of everyone from now on? She regretted burying her face in the pillow. I tried so hard to avoid being ruined as a queen. Now everything is lost. Leah's eyes still glistened with tears. Even though we're a couple, we shouldn't have done that in front of so many people. She blushed, thinking, that kind of thing should only happen when we're alone. Feeling her mind was wandering too far, Leah squirmed. What am I thinking? No, stop right now. Don't think about it. She held her head and cried, Please go away, you Liu demon. It's all the fault of that damned red book. Suddenly, Sion Burmit appeared out of nowhere and rushed toward her. Aren't you going to eat lunch? Leah cowered in his arms. Be careful. I haven't fully recovered yet. Sion looked concerned. Should I carry you to the room? Leah hurriedly pushed him away. No, thank you. Anyway, I don't need that book, he explained anxiously. No, it's just, please come with me. Taking advantage of his carelessness, Leah slipped away. Then I'll go. She returned to her room, slammed the door shut, and protected it like a thief. Leah leaned against the door, breathless and wondering, what should I do now? Slowly, she slid down, hugging her face in embarrassment. I can't face Leo Castle. Suddenly, Leo Castle spoke up with concern. Why are you suddenly avoiding the Emperor? Leah was so startled she lost her color. You scared me. She stood up and questioned him. Why are you here? He replied honestly. His Majesty just summoned you to report on your investigation. Leah rolled her eyes, remembering. Oh yes, I think he mentioned something about that. But Leo Castle didn't let go of his question. So, why are you avoiding him? She painfully propped her chin and asked back. Could you act normal with someone who kissed you publicly in front of so many people? Leo Castle sincerely advised. That's not impossible. Moreover, you two are married already. Leah made a face and retorted. You can really say that. You come from the Herm. So generous. Leo Castle snapped back angrily. I don't think the person who created the Herm is qualified to say that. Also, I'm still pure. They exchanged words. Whatever the case, I never thought His Majesty would be ashamed of this. Do you think I'm shameless? Leo Castle assessed her for a moment and then honestly replied, actually, a little. Leah imagined the palace gossipers and went crazy. The matter of punishing the crown prince must be kept secret. In the end, everyone will only remember my kissing scene. They'll freely ridicule. Oh my god, I heard His Majesty and the Queen have a very good relationship. He loves her so much he doesn't care who's watching. Getting pregnant early in a political marriage seems strange. Her? She pounced and grabbed Leo Castle's collar. I even announced I'm not pregnant, but they still don't believe it. He felt speechless. What's so bad about rumors of your love affair being beautiful? Leo Castle breathed out and adjusted his collar, then exposed the truth. To me, your embarrassment is just an excuse. It's more like you're avoiding His Majesty because you can't stop thinking about him. Instead of ignoring your feelings, you should face them. Leah stood abruptly, anger burning fiercely. It's not like that. He reminded her of the first anniversary celebration of the mud. In a few days, both of you have to attend the event. How do you plan to handle it? Leah collapsed. What will I do? She fell into a spiral of self-doubt. How can I face everyone at the event? Everyone will talk about this. Leah poked her 2 index fingers together hesitantly. The rumors have been exaggerated too much. The plan to divorce in 2 years and live peacefully has completely collapsed. Leo Castle looked at her and wanted to be depressed too. I don't want to hear about the master's love affair. On the day of the anniversary event, the sky was blue, the clouds white, and the sun golden. The palace opened its doors wide, and flowers fluttered across the sky. Sion Bamud sincerely apologized. I told you it was my fault. Leah stammered. Exactly what did you do wrong? He hesitated. I don't remember very clearly. She didn't want to mention that embarrassing anecdote either. If you don't remember, then don't apologize. Leah covered her face and complained. Why do you keep bringing up that story and making me embarrassed? Sion looked puzzled. What did I do to embarrass you? Finally, she blurted it out. You humiliated me by kissing me in front of everyone. Sion honestly corrected her. If put in context, you were the one who started it. Leah's expression changed instantly. I did it to get a reaction from you. I never intended for it to be so intense. He suddenly became serious. Are you that embarrassed? Leah admitted honestly. Of course. Above all, the person who put me in that situation doesn't even remember clearly, so only I am embarrassed. And the real reason she didn't want to say, that was my first kiss. Noisy sounds urging them began ringing from outside. Leah frankly concluded, so, from now on, don't cross the line. Sion pulled her back and suggested, revenge is an option. He leaned close and confirmed, you said you hated me a lot, then whispered in her ear. The two leaned against the doorframe, making the crowd below even more enthusiastic. Leah blushed and reminded him, wait, what are you doing? Sion stayed in place and replied, if that incident made you so embarrassed. He grabbed her hand and pointed it at his face. Then this time, I'll be the one who feels embarrassed. Leah lightly touched his cheek and thought, he's telling me to hit him. Her speculation grew bolder. Is he planning to pretend to kiss me in public so I slap him and humiliate him? Leah stared blankly at him. He's really willing to be slapped just to soothe me. What man would do that? She changed her mind, took her finger, and lifted Sion's chin to tease him. Do you think this is enough? Leah scratched his smooth chin, then gleefully stroked his head. This scene unfolded clearly before the public's eyes. The crowd, showered with dog food, shouted, look, His Majesty can't resist the Queen. Leah also felt it was quite fun to play along. Haha, who would have thought His Majesty could look like this? In her heart, she secretly enjoyed watching him accept his punishment. Obedient is also cute. Cannon Bamud suddenly opened opened his mouth. Do you feel better? Leah lowered her head slightly, pretending to ponder, then replied brightly, yes, Sion. The two walked together to the balcony and waved to their citizens. Luren respectfully reminded Leah, Your Highness, your next schedule is afternoon tea. She simply replied, okay, then wandered off, complaining, just a gathering of the nobility to commemorate this occasion. She muttered to herself, Sion is busy with affairs of the country. A girl spoke up and interrupted, I greet the queen. Leah recognized her and greeted back, oh, Eloise, are you doing well lately? Eloise shyly covered her cheek, yes, your highness. Thank you for your concern. In her heart, Leah happily thought, it's really a relief she doesn't have to marry the man who dared to harm me. She must have hated him that much. Leah Elites walked alongside Eloise, offering words of comfort. That's a smart thought, Eloise. There are still many better things in this world. Eloise smiled in agreement. You're right, actually, I've been paying attention to someone lately. She became very excited. Really? Who is it? Eloise hugged Leah's arm shyly. The Duchess of Shire. Leah froze, startled. Has the mud suddenly become more open-minded? She wondered. Eloise continued with more details. I mean Princess Ruby Shire of the Shire Kingdom. She married Duke Shire just last month. Now Leah was doubly shocked, and she's married. Eloise was still immersed in her own dreams. The Duchess and I have common interests. I want to be friends with her. Leah breathed a sigh of relief. Oh, so that's it. She turned to Eloise and asked, so, can you help me sit close to her? Leah hesitated, knowing the seats were arranged by nobility rank, but she still agreed. That's not a problem. I'll take care of it. The two entered a luxurious, magnificent banquet hall together. Eloise enthusiastically approached her admired target. Duchess of Shire, this is my favorite lemon cake. Would you like to try it? It's really fragrant and soft. Though confused, Ruby politely replied, thank you, miss. She tasted the cake and praised, it's really delicious. Eloise's eyes smiled brightly. I'm glad to hear that. Leah Elite stared intently at the beautiful red-haired girl in front of her. So she's the Duchess of Shire. Eloise continued introducing a new dish. Please try the scone too. The butter flavor is very good. Leah looked at Ruby but didn't refuse. She worried quietly. Is it okay to give her so much flour? It might be heavy on her stomach, but it's not my business. In her head, Leah decided she'll probably handle it herself. Suddenly, someone smiled brightly and greeted the Duchess. Long time no see. Ruby smiled back. Haha, your highness, I just spoke to you a moment ago. But just then, Ruby covered her mouth, causing Eloise to worry. Duchess, are you okay? The woman next to Ruby added with concern. Oh my god, Duchess Shire, are you not feeling well? Ruby wiped her mouth with a handkerchief and explained, oh, it's nothing serious. I just feel a little uncomfortable. Eloise quickly took out a bottle of medicine. I've also been having indigestion lately, so I often carry medicine with me. Duchess, you should try this. A woman in a blue dress praised loudly. Oh, Miss Apenzela is so thoughtful. Ruby took the medicine and smiled brightly. Thank you all for your concern. Leah breathed a sigh of relief and put down her teacup. I knew it. Luckily, Eloise brought medicine. After a bit of chatting, Leah opened the conversation. Now that we've talked a bit, we should get to the main issue, right? By the way, it's great to be here with everyone. Next, a girl in an orange dress suggested, how about organizing a tea party at a villa outside the capital? I heard the royal villa is very beautiful. I would love to see it. Leah agreed cheerfully. Really? Then I will ask the emperor for permission. The group of girls clapped their hands excitedly. I'm so excited. But someone reminded them, if it's at the royal villa, those hickey noble ladies will also come. Leah nodded to herself. Exactly. She looked thoughtful. My image is still improving among the young people, but if I build relationships with influential ladies, I can gather more hair for the all-purpose medicine. I'll also collect important information and prepare a slush fund. Leah giggled and covered her mouth, smiling secretly. One arrow hits two targets. I will be close to them. Definitely. Suddenly, Ruby spoke up. Excuse me, I'll go to the waiting room for a while. The girl next to her immediately agreed. Ah, go ahead. Leah wondered, why did she go to the waiting room so suddenly? She looked worried. Her face looked pale. Could it be that the digestive medicine didn't work? Even though Ruby left, Eloise didn't notice. She was too busy talking. Leah scratched her chin, curious. She seems like the type who silently endures on her own. Should I help her? Leah decided to act. She walked to the restroom door and called out, Duchess of Shire. Ruby stood up abruptly and greeted, Your Highness. Leah asked with concern, you don't look well. Are you still not feeling well? She stood next to Ruby and asked, should I call the royal doctor now? Ruby hurriedly refused. Sit down. No, Your Highness, I just need to rest a bit. I'll feel better. Leah, still enthusiastic, said, I know a very effective remedy. Would you like to try it? Ruby looked extremely surprised. Really? Leah turned and whispered into Luren's ear. She left for a moment and then came back. I have wrought what you requested, Your Highness. She held a sharp needle and asked again, did you sterilize it? Luren respectfully confirmed, yes. Ruby screamed in horror, Your Highness. Leah winked to reassure her, sure, just trust me. Ruby trembled like a leaf, unbelievably. But how can this work? Leah didn't care whether Ruby believed it or not. Some say it has no medical basis, but for indigestion, this is the most effective method. She grabbed Ruby's finger and said, close your eyes for a moment. Leah asked while inserting the needle, how does it feel? Not too painful, right? Ruby looked at the drop of black blood flowing out and was so scared she dry heaved. Why is it so black? She hurriedly covered her mouth and ran away. After a while, Ruby returned brightly. Your Highness, thank you very much. I feel much better. She hugged Leah's arm admiringly. Like magic. How did you do that? Leah covered her mouth and laughed. Oh, so embarrassing. It's nothing special. Probably a family secret. Leah concluded the lesson. In the end, wise advice is still the best. The two happily returned to the banquet hall together. Eloise looked regretful. I'm sorry, Duchess. I think I invited you to eat too much. Ruby still focused on Leah and didn't react to Eloise. Your Highness, I'm extremely grateful. Leah proposed happily. As a reward, I want to invite you to my house to play. How does that sound? Ruby eagerly agreed. Yes, if there's a chance, I'd be honored. murmured. Eloise shyly tried to interrupt. Ah, by the way. But Eloise silently watched the two happy women in their own world and angrily tightened her skirt. Late that night, Leah continued with a difficult problem. You know, I think I need to resolve the trouble with Sion. Leo Castle asked. Is it because of what happened at the hunting area? She nodded. I know Sion is sensitive to blood, but I didn't know he could lose control like that. Leah touched the red book she used when he smelled her blood. There was no problem then. She explained the situation of Cedric's sneak attack. But at the hunting area, when Sion smelled someone else's blood and then saw his own, he lost control. Leah boldly speculated. It seems these two events are related. She rummaged through her memories. The prophecy said that if Sion felt strong emotions, he would destroy the future of the Empire. If he lost control because of anger, that fits perfectly. Leo Castle reminded her. Why don't you ask that red book? It helped His Majesty calm down when he was losing control, right? He raised his hand and invited. Do you want me to prick your finger for blood? Leah pulled her hand back sarcastically. You're too enthusiastic, even though it's not your business. No, it's okay. I'll do it myself. She dripped a little blood from her fingertip onto the page of the book. It immediately appeared. What do you want to know, my lady? Leah quickly wrote down the question. The man I am soulbound to loses control when he sees blood. Teach me how to fix that. The book immediately replied. As we have done so far, use your power to tame him. Indecent thoughts appeared in Leah's mind. Tame him? What does that mean? Not the kind I'm thinking about. How do I tame him? Please explain in more detail. The book answered. Generally, if you carry energy like today, your power will help him calm down. She turned to ask Leo Castle. What energy am I carrying today? But I already took a bath. He honestly replied. I don't know. She became impatient. Why does this book keep going around in circles? Leah endured the pain and pricked her finger for more blood. This time, the drop was larger, falling with a thud on the paper. Looking at the results, Leah was slightly confused. The Duchess of Shire's necklace? Leo Castle looked knowledgeable. I heard it's a family heirloom of the Shire Duchy. Over the years, the Shire Dukes and the Princesses of Alios have married, and that necklace has been passed down from generation to generation to the Duke's wife. Leah rummaged through her memories. Now that I think about it, she was wearing a ruby necklace during the afternoon reception. She turned to ask him. So, just bringing that necklace will do, but planning and implementation are two different things. How can I get the treasure from someone else's house? Could there be no other object with power besides that necklace? The intimate book replied. Gemstones that help strengthen the owner usually come in a set. If there is one item, there will be others. She closed the book and made a decision. Since I've been invited, I will first go to the Shire Duke's house. If the ruby necklace doesn't work, I will take another gemstone. Leo Castle agreed. That's good. He made another suggestion while preparing medicine. By the way, it's better if you sleep in a separate room, far away from the Emperor, until suspicion that it's a death sentence is removed. Leo suspiciously uttered. Leo Castle explained in more detail. The poison will accumulate, causing the amount of blood he vomits to increase, and it will also become abnormal. He placed the box on the table and finished. If you sleep together, you may see that bloody scene again. Take this new antidote. Leah Elites imagined herself transforming into a mummy and shuddered. Oh, if I do that, he'll protect me even more. Finally, she grasped the main point. I understand. I'll try to act as natural as possible. The tea party was proceeding very lively. In Sion's office, the red-haired man respectfully introduced himself. Your Majesty, the Emperor, I am Kiel Alios. I would like to meet you. Kiel Alios, the second prince of Alios, a kingdom founded by a distant branch of the Bermuth royal family. Sion Bermud uncomfortably thought he came today too. Then bluntly probed. Aren't you just here to visit your sister? I told you there was no need to greet me. Kiel naturally poured himself a cup of tea and replied slowly. Wouldn't you be happy to see your cousin again after so long? Even so, I still wanted to congratulate you on your wedding first. Sion secretly sat. This eye is still as thick-skinned as ever. The more he looked at that face, the angrier he became. Even though we're just cousins, we used to hang out a lot when we were young. That carefree attitude of his always annoyed me. Even now he just appears because he's a relative. So annoying. Sion ordered the guest to be seen off. If you're done congratulating, then get out. Kiel remained calm. Ruby is probably at the Queen's tea party. After that, we will leave together. He excitedly presented. The Shire Duke's house is not far from the capital. This is a good opportunity for Ruby to get closer to the Queen. Sion angrily dismissed this idea. If you plan to win over the Queen through your sister, then forget it. Kiel drawled sarcastically. Oh my god, your Majesty is too strict with me. But after all, the Queen is my family member. He smiled brightly and commented, living in the palace can be very lonely. It's good to have friends. Then Kiel became more and more excited, and if my sister isn't suitable, then I don't mind trying to be friends with the Queen either. Hearing this, Sion broke the pen in his hand, uttering each word. The Queen doesn't need friends to avoid loneliness. Kiel covered his mouth and laughed sarcastically. So the rumors that the Queen is enjoying a sweet newlywed life are true. Sion turned red in the ears and asked, why did this conversation turn like this? Kiel discovered a great secret. Oh, see what we have here? He immediately asked, or are they just baseless rumors? Sion turned green and waved it off. None of your business. Kiel said nothing but covered his mouth and chuckled. He stood up and decided not to make things difficult anymore. Yes, I know the tea party is probably about to end, so I will take my leave. But before he could take a few steps, he poked his head back and promised, next time, it would be great to meet the Queen together with your Majesty. The door slammed shut in front of Sion Bermud. Kiel leaned against the door, laughing so hard his whole body trembled. Then he couldn't help but hug his stomach and burst into laughter, startling the group of maids. Kiel wiped away tears of laughter and maliciously calculated, oh, so even that cold guy can react like this. If I use this, I'll have material to tease him for the rest of my life. He happily whistled and left. I should have some fun. A rose pinned to the door made Leah Solid softly exclaim, oh. She turned to ask everyone, where did this flower come from? Did someone leave it? The attendant explained while opening the door, it's a gift for your highness from a guest of Alios. They say it's a special rose from that region. Leah sincerely praised, oh really? Really, it's so beautiful. She felt quite happy. I don't know who sent it, but that person has good taste. Then she handed the flower to the maid. Luren, please put it in a vase. As for the Council of Medicine, Leah locked herself in the cabinet and kept the antidote safe. Leah stretched inside. I'm so tired. Luren bowed her head and praised. Your Highness has worked very hard today. She greeted Leah. I will take my leave first. Please rest. She had nothing else to do either. All right, Luren, you've worked hard too. Leah climbed into bed and murmured, I wonder when Sion will come. I want to see him sleeping first. As soon as she finished speaking, she nodded and drooled. A large hand reached out to support her head. Leah squinted her eyes and asked softly, Sion. She yawned and wondered, when did you come in? I didn't hear the door open. Sion reminded her, if you're sleepy, then sleep first. Leah lay down on the pillow but stubbornly tried to keep her mouth shut. I'm fine. Sion comforted her. I just want to see you sleep first. She squinted her eyes and asked back, really? After hearing this, Leah gently suggested, then from now on, we will sleep separately 4 days a week. Sion exclaimed, He immediately questioned, why suddenly like that? Leah explained, very reasonably, now that you sleep peacefully, there's no need to sleep together every night anymore. She spoke smoothly. Also, I want to make sure you can really sleep by yourself. Okay. Not hearing a reply made Leah tremble with anger. Why don't you say anything? You lied about sleeping well, didn't you? Sion replied weakly, it's not like that. He sighed. Then again, 4 days. Suddenly Sion's eyes focused on the flower and asked, what is this? Leah blankly uttered, what? He bluntly suspected, that rose, it seems to be from Aelio's. Why is it here? Leah looked nonchalant. Ah, they said it was a gift from Aelio's guest. She excitedly shared. It's really beautiful, isn't it? The more Leah spoke, the more excited she became. I've never seen such a beautiful rose before. Sion gently stroked her hair and secretly cursed, that bastard Keel is starting to bother me. He held his head in anger. A new day began. Greetings, Your Highness, the Queen. Ruby twittered and held Leah's hand. Thank you for coming. Leah replied politely. On the contrary, I should thank you for inviting us. Leah looked for a topic to exchange. They said that the Duke's garden is very beautiful, right? Ruby smiled proudly. Of course. Actually, I prepared a tea table in the garden. She excitedly continued. And once again, thank you for yesterday. If it weren't for you, our reputation would have been threatened. Leah felt the other party was too polite. It's nothing. If you encounter any difficulties, just let me know. Ruby was extremely shy. How generous you are, Your Highness. I don't know how to repay you. Is there anything I can do for you? Leah seemed to take it lightly. Or, that's not necessary. But in her heart, she was smiling from ear to ear. Now is the time, a great opportunity to mention that necklace. Then she pretended to hesitate. If you insist. Suddenly someone interrupted her. Your Highness, this way please. Then a pair of feet suddenly appeared. Leah was startled and softly called out the other party's name. Eloise. In her heart, she screamed madly. Why did she appear at this?